Righto, welcome to This Week in Downhill. Yeah, I missed last week and I'm like 3 or 4 days late for this week, so it's technically like the last 2 weeks in downhill. Yeah, I was down south. I was in Virginia and North Carolina area for Woodbooger, and then I stayed in Asheville for a week skating, which was awesome, and then had the Reddish Outlaw also in Virginia. Yeah, so I was out skating, camping, that kind of stuff. Was not really following what was going on with like longboard related stuff. And then, you know, just usual life stuff, getting back from a trip, getting back into the swing of things. And so I'm late for a couple of weeks on this, but it means there's a ton of stuff to talk about this week. You know, heaps of stuff has happened. Yeah, we'll just get straight into it. So I wanted to start with Braille Skateboarding posted a video. If you don't know Braille Skateboarding, it's like a street and park skating YouTube channel. They've got like over 5 million subscribers. They've done all sorts of just creative, crazy videos, as well as like educational ones, all in the realm of street skating. Like I said, over 5 million subscribers, hugely popular channel. And they did a video with Spud doing downhill skateboarding, which is awesome. That's going to be a lot of exposure for the sport. It was like a pretty good video. It gives it like a good exposure. It was kind of funny to see, like, these are meant to be like pro street park skaters, like regular skateboard skaters, and they were just like kind of shocked, and I don't know, they didn't seem super keen on the downhill, and the downhill skating wasn't exactly like too crazy either. Like, Spud's a really good skater, but what they were skating that day, at least in the video, didn't seem too like wild or dangerous. It was just kind of like a mountain road. Either way, I don't know, I think it's kind of a big deal. It's like, it's going to be a lot of exposure for people, like especially kids who already skate, and they're going to get to see this downhill skating, and they're going to be like, wow, this is crazy. So that was pretty awesome. You should check it out. Yeah. I guess to mention, like, the video was obviously with Spud. If you don't know who he is, he's like a really good filmer, like especially follow car filmer. Some of the best follow films you see out there are actually filmed by him. I'm not sure if it's actually his channel, if he's just like the main film guy for Linked Media, which we've talked about on this channel a couple of times. And they actually just posted a video recently of Snyder skating in Columbia, which was, honestly, watching that was like the most cooked video of skating I've ever seen. So I'll have the link in that one as well. But that was just, man, those guys get up to some crazy stuff in Columbia. Just cars and motorbikes and buses and everything driving everywhere. That was a scary video to watch, so you can check that out if you want a bit of an adrenaline rush today. Alright, I know I literally talked about it in the last TWID, but Get That has been posting so much. I think they've posted like 6 or 7 videos in the last 2 weeks, and that's it's all leading up to their clothing drop. So they've got a bunch of skate edits, a couple of extra podcasts, just like ramping up the media, ready to drop their latest clothing line. As of recording this, I think it comes out tomorrow morning, so it's already kind of late tonight, so you might not see this until after the clothing is dropped, and I'm pretty sure they sell out super quick. I'm gonna try and get something. I still don't have any Get That Skate apparel, you know, which is kind of lame because I'm a New Zealander and people think I'm Australian, so I probably should be wearing it. So I think for my time zone, it's actually dropping at like 5 AM. So we'll see when I get up for work if there's anything available. If you somehow see this before it drops, you know, try and get in on that. It's probably going to be sold out by the time you're seeing this though. But yeah, something really cool. Something also like community related, skate adjacent, I guess you could say, is there's this new video game, computer game called Driftwood. Yeah, looks super sick. It's like a downhill skateboarding game. It's made by these guys called Stoke Sloth Interactive, I think. And it's a sloth riding a skateboard down a hill. But it's like actual downhill skating. It looks, from the videos at least, like reasonably similar feeling to what longboarding is like. As far as like, if you can imagine a video game of downhill skating, it looks pretty good. It looks pretty awesome. So it's available. I think it's still like a pre-release, like it's not the final finished product. They're still working on it, but that's on Steam, so that's for computer games. Yeah, awesome stuff to see. Like, again, something else that might help, you know, longboarding grow. If people who play video games see that, you know, especially kids, they're gonna be like, well, this is cool, I want to try this in real life, and then, you know, maybe they'll try it out. But yeah, cool looking game. Staying in the vein of like sort of community stuff right now, Longboard Family has a great meme going at the moment. Someone posted a photo of them like boiling their wheels to apply some kind of dye to it, which is a bit random, but it set off this like trend of joking about cooking wheels. And so there's people just like posting pictures of them putting wheels in a pot to cook them, or I don't know, it's kind of dumb, but it's pretty funny. And there's also all these people that are just like, what is going on? And I don't know, I'll have the photos here and you can decide for yourself whether it's funny or whether it's dumb. It actually led one of the admins to make a post saying like, hey, just so you know, like this is a joke, and like don't actually cook your wheels because it's like plastic urethane. It can give you like cancer if you breathe in the fumes, which I don't know if that like ruins the joke or makes it even funnier, but anyway, yeah, like so if you're like not on Longboard Family yet, you should definitely get on there. Like there's some good stuff that gets shared, there's some cool videos that get shared, there's some good questions and stuff like that, but it's also just a lot of like really funny nonsense, and it's all sort of fun and games related to downhill skating. So yeah, check out Longboard Family on Facebook for sure. Still within this sort of community vein, there's this group called Beyond the Board. I think they did like a big trip last year as well. It's headed up by Brandon Desjardins. I haven't mentioned it yet. I don't know when they started. I have the timeline. I'll put the photo here with all the stuff, the times and dates they're doing, but it's basically a group of people, all skaters, downhill skaters, like dancing, freeride, like freestyle, all sorts of longboarders basically, and they're making their way across the country. They started in California, headed towards the East Coast, and they'll make their way up. I think they actually end in Canada this year. Yeah, just doing a trip, like having events and hosting sessions in different cities across the country. I don't know, yeah, I hadn't mentioned it. I think they're already, like, last I saw they were in Phoenix, Arizona. They had some trouble with their bus, so they have to change some of the dates. But, you know, check out the poster, see if there's any times where they're going to be in a city near you or your own home city. Could be something cool to check out if they're having an event or a session. Yeah, get amongst it. All right, the last thing community related is the IDF is now officially done. I didn't really follow the whole IDF GGA nonsense very closely, but the IDF was the International Downhill Federation. It was sort of like the only real coherent structure for a world circuit, I guess you could say. So for anyone competing and racing, the IDF was the main sort of World Cup, I guess you could call it. Around the time of COVID, it's sort of just, they tried to do some changes. They tried to, you know, basically, yeah, make some changes, and then COVID hit, so events were cancelled. Caused all this drama. They changed their name. I didn't really follow it because I didn't really care that much. But anyway, some people who were members have still been paying in and all sorts of nonsense. They've officially dissolved as of like last week or something. They held a vote or something. And again, I don't really care that much, but the point is, like, that organization is now, it's officially over. I have the post here that sort of has all the information about it. Yeah, so it's going to be really interesting to see what sort of comes next. We have the WDSC, World Downhill Skateboard Championship. That's right. And when they had Kozakov, and they had the race in Turkey last year, and this year they've added 2 or 3 more races to that lineup. They sort of seem to be the big one coming up now. And then you also had the World Roller Games, Skateboard Games, whatever the one in Argentina was. I'm sorry, I'm kind of, you know, going off the cuff right now. But anyway, so it's going to be interesting to see, like, what sort of racing organizations come up next, and whether they end up sticking together, combining, and we have like a world championship type thing, or is it going to be like a world champion for these races and this circuit, and a world champion for this circuit, and who knows? I don't know. We'll see. It's going to be interesting. But yeah, the IDF is done. Speaking of races, let's move into some event news now. Kozakov, which was the WDSC event, has actually been cancelled, unfortunately. Yeah, huge shame. Kozakov's been running for many years. I don't think it's like a over forever type thing. I think there's just been some issues specifically with this year's event. Just a lot of people talking about the financials of it, like the registration being too expensive compared to previous years. So I think they've sort of struggled to get the funds together, something like that. But yeah, a bit of a shame. That's obviously a well-known, huge race, one of the most popular events, really, not just races, but events in the world. So it's a shame to see that sort of happen. You know, that was going to be one of the first big events this year, like as far as racing goes. We've had a few races, but that was going to be one of the ones kicking off the Euro Tour. Yeah, huge shame. Hopefully they can sort of figure things out and keep it back for next year. I guess we'll see. Flipping over into a more positive note, GRC has been announced. If you don't know what GRC is, that's an event in, well, it's a road in North Carolina, in Asheville, but they had an event there last year. I went, it was awesome. It was pretty crazy. Like the road's not super heavy, but the skating close to everyone, really close to everyone, was pretty wild. Yeah, the road is super fun. It's an amazing event. Khalil hosted it, did an awesome job, and yeah, they've announced the dates for this year. It's going to be in September again. Yeah, if you didn't make it last year, definitely consider making it. You probably want to be pretty proficient at skating. You know, it's really windy, there's some steep sections, and you're going to be skating very close to a lot of people. But it's a good time, it's really fun, and yeah, I'm hoping I can make it down there again. Maryhill announced their dates for the fall. I think they announced the dates of when the registration will also open. That's going to be the fall freeride at the RVOD fall freeride, but also the Tour de Maryhill, so it's going to be a race as well. Yeah, Maryhill, I mean, it's a pretty regular, consistent event, but they only just had their first one for the year and they're already getting ready for the second one. So if you like Maryhill, definitely think about registering as soon as that opens. They can fill up pretty quick, but I know they have a lot of slots. So yeah, Maryhill. The other two things to mention with events was both Woodbooger and Reddish were the last 2 weekends. I was at both. Woodbooger was the first time having an event on that road. It was hosted by Mark and Emily, and it was epic. It was awesome. The road was pretty heavy. It was, you know, pretty fast and had some really tight corners with some pretty decent speed into them. We had a bit of rain, so there was probably about a third of the runs of the event were either raining or just wet and patchy. Yeah, which made for some interesting runs. I didn't take any wet runs. I wasn't trying to do that, but it was a great time. The road was awesome. Everyone there was super stoked. The town was cool. The mayor came out and was handing out stickers at one point, which was just, I don't know, really cool. Really nice to be in a town where they not just like okay with, but they actually openly support the downhill skating event that we had there. So yeah, I'm hoping it happens again next year. Hopefully you'll start seeing some clips come out. I filmed so much I think I filmed every run I skated when I was down there. I'm actually sitting on like 130 gigs of footage from my trip to the south, which stay tuned for all sorts of stuff from there. But yeah, I plan to have a Woodbooger edit out pretty soon. And if you weren't able to make it, but you had thought about going, then definitely wait and see my video that comes out. I'm sure there'll be some other videos coming out in the next couple of weeks and see what the road looked like and try and get there next year. Yeah, the other one was Reddish. That's a cool one. Apparently, like, that's been going for several years at this point. This was my third time there. The spring Outlaw. Reddish is super cool. It's out in the mountains. Technically, it's in West Virginia, but it's right on the border of West Virginia and Virginia. We all camp out in the woods and the mountains out on the skate run, which is so awesome. They have a bit of an outlaw race in the morning and then just spend the rest of the day free riding, you know, taking runs. We have a U-Haul, get driven up to the top and have radios to close the road. And yeah, just a really, really good time. If you ever find yourself in the Virginia, East Coast general kind of area around the time of Reddish Outlaw, I would highly recommend coming. It's not like the gnarliest road or the craziest road, but it's just so much fun to skate with a bunch of cool people on like a really nice, fun road. But yeah, that was awesome. Shout out to Zach Taylor. I'll also have an edit coming out of the Reddish Knob, and I have seen a few other people posting clips and stuff, so yeah. Okay, and to end this week in downhill, talking about some company related stuff, Rocket actually released a weight. So for all you guys that use weights on your board, you already have one, I guess it doesn't matter. If you've been thinking about it, Rocket's made it easy. They're now selling them. They call them gravity plates. And if you buy a Rocket board from them and you want the gravity plate, they'll install it for you as well before it arrives. So that's pretty cool. I don't know if I'll get a weight or not. I have tried the weighted thing. I do need to try it again, so we'll see. Maybe that could be a fun way of doing it. But yeah, interesting. Like, the companies are starting to pick up on these like small niche things. Like longboarding is already kind of a niche, like downhill. And then companies are actually choosing to build and sell gear that's like even smaller target audience, I guess you could call it. But yeah, super interesting, and that's out. Also, kind of related to Rocket is a dark matter grip tape. It's pretty sure it's like a sub-brand of Rocket. It's their grip tape brand. They have I think it was 2 years ago they started selling grip. A lot of people weren't as keen on it as something compared to like Seismic. They found it not like grippy enough or durable enough, not sure. Hadn't tried it yet. I actually got sent a pack. I just ordered a rocket recently, and they sent me the wrong one, and you know, we figured it out, but they were kind enough to send me a pack of the new Dark Matter grip, which is a lower grit, so grippier, and it's awesome. I'm going to put together a review. I was skating it my whole time in the South. Yeah, that's out now. You can buy it. If you order a rocket board, they'll grip it for you if you want that to be done. Yeah, new gear, new stuff, lots of stuff this week in downhill. As always, I'll have all of the links to everything I talked about in the description below. Definitely check out anything you thought was interesting. Hit me up with anything that's, you know, news or happens this week for next week's This Week in Downhill. Always helps if I have like people sending me, hey, I'm hosting this event, or hey, my friend's hosting this event, or hey, I saw this cool thing, and it makes it really easy for me to go, oh yeah, no, that is cool, like I'm going to include that. But yeah, stoked. It's summer. Let's get out and skate.